on. I'm conscious now that we're a bit behind because of the technical issue. So a hard to be with Gaeltachta take the heart or caro heshihine so broner and fisha. So Buanú and fáil Chuir AnneMarie Fox ban atá tahi fihi blianaka teideal le comhlachtaí adíb garan bethe agus cuasaí achhuiní fórne agus as though a could le daoine slíbethe is fearr agus is fellúnach agus ceann si tainneamh all agus tá si freisin mar coach seal agus gúil siad in the upper le duine ar dhuine agus tá si so tá annachchuid taithíoch agus is tá si leabhartlinne so I díobh cuasaí fórne inniu. So AnneMarie, thank you for coming today and participating on the panel. 20 years experience in working in career consultancy, successfully placing hundreds of people in their dream job. And that's what we all want, to get up in the morning to go to the job that we love and have great desires for. You also have host a podcast. I've listened to it myself. It's very good on your terms, where you speak to people from various walks of life and they give their take on, I suppose, challenges and successes and failures that they've had. And, you know, there's a learning out of everybody's life story. We all have a book on this, I suppose, from that perspective. So AnneMarie, I'll hand it over to you now to share your expertise with our guests today. Cormac.
Sinead, thanks very much for having me on today. As Sinead said, yeah, my name is AnneMarie Fox, and I suppose I work with a number of companies and individuals just on getting the best out of their career and motivating their team and confidence and all that sort of area. So today I'm going to really talk about employee retention in the current climate. So I'll just share my screen here. So can you all see that screen?
Yes.
Is that shared? Brilliant. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I suppose really for everybody in this situation, it's new. We're all adapting to a new normal. So even though people are looking to us for answers, we ourselves are trying to find the answers. So before I even go into giving some advice and tips on how to look after your team in the current climate, one of the most important parts that we forget is we actually have to look after ourselves. So if you're there trying to give support to your company, to your team while they're working remotely, and you're not looking after yourself, then you're not in a position to do that. So a lot of people I'm talking to are finding this part hard. And going back to what Brian said earlier, it's all about staying positive. So what I would say to anyone who has trying to set up a remote team for their business, when you come up against any sort of pressure, there's 3 tips I tell everybody. And I just like you to think about this today. If anything comes up throughout the day, smile, breathe, and refocus. So once you get into the habit of, any important meeting or doing something online, smile, breathe, and refocus. So at least you are in a much better position then to deal with your remote teams and deal with any issues. As I said, it's a new normal for all of us. Nobody was prepared for this. It isn't something we had trained for. So to just look after yourself would be number one, I would say to everybody. So if we have to look at what is happening since March, a lot of people are working from home, and once the novelty wore off, and there was a bit of novelty at the beginning of working from home, setting up your work environment, but research has shown that there are struggles, and the main struggles we have seen would be communication, loneliness, and unplugging from work. So just if I briefly talk about those, so communication, we're used to walking into an office and talking to people, walking into a manager, chatting to them, or the manager walking into the floor, talking to the team. Whereas now we don't know what to do. We don't know, can we pick up the phone and ring somebody? So we need to get a bit more knowledge around how to communicate and set it out for the team. Loneliness is huge. It's not just loneliness of not working with people, but the physical aspect of getting out of your house, driving to work, walking to work, meeting people on your way. Whereas it's working from home can be very lonely if you're just looking at a computer all day and you're not meeting anyone else. And the other point, which it's coming up again and again with clients I'm dealing with, is the ability to unplug from work. And a lot of people, you know, I think it's about 3 hours extra we're working a day by working from home. If you're working in an office and at 5:30 comes or whatever your finish time is, you actually turn the computer off, you put your coat on and you walk out the door. So that signals something in your brain to say, I'm finished work. Now, you know, we might still check emails at home, but you're actually finished work because you've left work. But we don't have that switch off button now. We're not able to say at 5:30, okay, we're finished, and just walk downstairs and put on the dinner. There's no, you know, we can easily go back to the computer. So it is something I work with people on, of how to set up those boundaries to make sure that they're able to unplug from work. So these are the struggles, and then I'm working what we need to do to change that. What are the tools that we can work with for our teams to keep them engaged, keep them on, you know, motivated, and, you know, at the end of the day, keep your staff happy. So these are just a couple of pointers that I'm working with clients on at the moment. So employee handbook, we all have employee handbooks, but we really haven't worked on an employee handbook for remote working. So let's rethink about that and figure out, well, what should we put in it? So put in the working hours, what is expected of people, so that they know, okay, we're not expected to work after 5:30. Put in how you will communicate, how you're going to have your meetings. And then if there's any issues, troubleshooting, you know, have all this in the handbook pretty clear for remote workers. Regular check-ins. As a company, you know, owner, manager, whatever it is, what are you expected? Are you going to call your team once a week, once a month? Are they going to be online? You know, how can they contact you? So again, put something in place so your team knows that you will be in contact with them. Virtual coffee breaks. I really like this, and it has worked really well with a lot of companies. You might find teams of people that, you know, take a break at 10 o'clock every day and go to the canteen, or even just sit at their desk and have a chat with somebody. They're missing this. So I would recommend you to talk to your team, get them to pick a remote buddy and have a quick 10-minute Zoom at 11 o'clock every day over a coffee, where they can switch off, as in where they can just take a break from work. It is proven that they're more motivated after this quick break to go back into work than not taking a break at all. But as a manager or a team leader, it's our responsibility to let them know that this is okay to do. So little things like that help. Online building, training, or team building. It's not something you want to, you know, spend too much time working on, but be mindful that maybe take a half day on a Friday and do some quiz. So the whole team are involved. So there's that sort of sense of a team again. Yes, you're not in the same room as them, but you're online, you're all chatting, and it's a fun environment. It's not a work meeting. A huge area that we're missing out on at the moment is knowledge sharing. So knowledge sharing is actually, it's a very positive aspect of an office-based situation where we talk across to each other. Somebody asks a question, somebody responds. We don't realize we're doing it, and we're missing out on that at the moment. So this, as a manager, is really, really important to look at, because it does improve employee engagement and retention. So I have recommended for people to look at setting up some sort of an online mentorship program. Maybe discussion groups online, or even monthly sort of presentations where some member of the team does a presentation of their learnings for that week or that month. So knowledge sharing is something that is really being I suppose overlooked in this remote working time. So that's something to definitely be looked at. Employee recognition, and this is not just for remote working, this has always been a huge driver for employees. And again, research has shown that by recognizing your employees, it does increase productivity and loyalty to the company. So it does increase employee retention. So again, how can we do this in a remote environment? Is there some online messenger? Can you set up something that, you call out somebody in public to say a good job, or, think a little bit differently about how we can do this, because, employee recognition is absolutely huge. And the final area that I just want to touch on is employee engagement surveys. Do we ask each other, do we ask our teams, well, what do you want? How can I help you while you're working from home? What can I do better? If we don't ask our teams what they feel like we could do better, we won't know. So don't be afraid to go out and ask. We can put a very simple survey together, just a couple of questions, just to see what we could do to make everything better for them. And you will see very much similar type responses will come back. So just to give you an idea of a company that we worked with a couple of months ago. So it was a small company based in the west of Ireland, who all their staff went down to a 3-day week, and well, not all their staff, most of their staff went down to three-day week and worked from home. So, I suppose the company themselves had a really good team there. The managers, the directors were worried. We don't want to lose this team. We know we will be busy again. We know after COVID, or once we get on top of everything, we will need all these staff back and fully engaged. So they just said, what can we do now so that nothing happens and that they don't lose interest and they don't leave? So we sat down and we put together a survey. Again, it was just 3 questions, very simple, to find out what their thoughts and feelings were, what we could do better, and, any ideas that they had. So everyone really came back the same type of questions. They were worried about the company's future, frustration that they didn't know what was going on, helplessness, loneliness, working long hours, feeling left out of decisions. So some of these were very simply, simple to work on. They weren't that, I suppose a lot of it was to do with communication. We're coming back to the communication issue. So once open line of communication was there and the managers knew what was important to them, it took away their worry, because one of their main worries was, will we get out of this? What will happen? So that fear was gone there once, so the directors didn't realize this was what was happening. And by asking these questions, they were able to answer them. They also continued engagement. So we worked on having, coaching each of them, wondering, okay, how do we work from home? What are the boundaries? So again, it was learning how to unplug from work, not working until 8 o'clock every night and resenting the company, and they were still doing a good job. So all of these different steps were implemented. And another huge area that they did invest money in this. All the staff were given an option to upskill in Microsoft products. So the client felt they just wanted to show that they were dedicated and interested to the client, to the company. So they did online training, specifically Microsoft Teams, because they were all using that, but also Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Anyone could do it. They didn't have to do it, but there was over 80% uptake in it. And the response was overwhelmingly fantastic. They just felt the company really appreciated them. They gave them this as an option to do while they were working from home. And they felt part of the team. It was something they all did together. So really, the reason we did all this was obviously employee engagement. The result to date, at the moment, there has been no staff turnover, and productivity actually has increased within the client, and it is down to employee engagement. And I love this quote: When people are financially invested, they want to return. When people are emotionally invested, they want to contribute. So just to remember, you know, the staff will work for you once you know that you're an invested interest in them as a person. So that's sort of an important point to remember. Look after your team and they will look after you. So I hope that helps. If there's any questions, please feel free to ask me any questions. I've my contact details up there as well. And if anyone wants any further information at all, feel free to give me a call or an email, and I'd be delighted to chat to you further. So thank you very much. Gur mágad.
AnneMarie. Tá rud a cinn tá takeí tríd an gá chur láthar an team nar commercides, you know, leabhar le daoine. AnneMarie, I suppose there's the communication aspect of this, whether
yes.
and I think it's a very important and it's two-way communication. And we have a lot of methods of communicating, but with remote, you lose that kind of one-to-one feel in the room. Is there anything that can we do to enhance that as team leaders, managers, employers, that gives that, because we've been talking about it, Brian mentioned it, you've spoken about it, the loneliness. I think the virtual coffees, but for some reason, I know myself, we seem to think we're too busy for them, you know. And we forget that, and you know, that's how do you improve those little things? Does it all have to be scheduled? I suppose maybe that's a question.
There are a couple of different questions there. First of all, we can't get for now that one-to-one in the room. We're not going to get that feeling back yet, but we need to get as close as we can to it. So definitely, I would recommend scheduled meetings for important conversations. But, you know, as a manager, to pick up the phone and ring one of your team members would be very, very important, just to check in, and not ring them when you just have an issue or when there's something that you need. You know, I don't think we've done it in the past, rang a team just to see how they're getting on. But in an office environment, we might have walked past their desk and said, how are you? How are you getting on? So it's about how I say to people, how would you act if you were in a work situation, if you were in a physical office? Try and bring that into your remote working. It's not easy because we've never had to do this before. But if I'm working at home and my manager rings me and just wonders how I'm getting on, and it happens occasionally, then I know that's okay. They're not ringing to give out, or they're not ringing looking for something, but it has to become more of a habit that you do it regularly. And the other thing, and Sinead, you're so right, we all think we're too busy to have a Zoom coffee. But if you were in an office environment, what would you do? Like, people are not even taking lunch breaks. They're not even getting up. They're maybe going downstairs, getting a sandwich, coming back to their desk. They're not physically getting away from their desk from 9 until 5, or in some cases 8 o'clock. So again, think back, how would you react if you were in an office environment? Take that 10 minutes, and not that I want to be scheduling everything, but maybe schedule it initially for the first few weeks. Once it's there, it becomes a habit. And once it's a habit, you'll be looking forward to it. Your colleague will be looking forward to it. And you're never too busy for a 10-minute break.
Okay, we have one question in here on Q&A. Yeah. How about the accounting sector? I found that only those who stay late were recognised, but those who did their work between 9 to 5 were often ignored and seen as less efficient, although it was the opposite. Any ways of changing this? So I suppose this is an attitude of looking busy or staying longer, etc. So what would you recommend there? How can we change that kind of a cultural aspect?
Absolutely. Is this in a remote working or in an office environment? Was it?
It doesn't say.
Oh, that's fine. Okay.
Sector, so it doesn't say.
Okay. Yeah, and that has come up time and time again, and I've heard that in the past. But the question has been answered in the way that it's asked there, if I hear it correctly, like the work is still, the person that leaves at 5:30 still has the work done. But the person that stays later is getting, the person that stays later is getting recognised. But ask yourself as a person, do you want to get your work done and be able to go home? Or do you want to stay later and not, get your work done? So it comes back to what you as a person want. So I want to get my work done at 5:30 and be able to go home and be very confident and happy myself that I've completed my day's work and that I'm not staying late just to be seen. And when you say they're getting recognised, I'm not sure whether they're getting recognised with extra salary. No, I could definitely talk to somebody more on that. Or what is it that they're getting recognised? If they're just getting recognised with a pat on the back, ask yourself, what's more important to you? Getting home from work or staying later for a pat on the back? It's down to what you want to get from a manager. And I think it pays off in the long term to finish, get your job done and leave at 5:30 and consistently stay at that level rather than working late every day. You're never going to be able to bring it back